Right, we're taking the mower to pieces today. Now, it's a, the model is a 131. It's a 2010. Yeah, it was new in 2010. We did not buy this mower new. It was actually a contractor that brought this mower new in 2010. And then we bought it from, we bought it when it was 6 years old. It had a bit of a hard life, and when we got it, we actually had, well, I did quite a lot of work to it when we got it in 2016, I think. I had to put we put a new rotor in it because that was bent. All the pins and bushes that are up in here, they were all worn out. I had to replace all them. We put a new rear curtain on it because that was knackered. We put new light boards all round, even though they faded already. Actually, the back ones are faded worse than the front ones. And when we got it, it had already had some welding done on the bed. It had been welded up a couple of times. I think somebody had run into something in a field with it and broken the bed, and it ended up getting welded up at the bottom here. I actually done some welding on it myself last year because it sprung a leak from a previous bit of damage that had been welded up. It was a really bad bit of welding, but I only had the arc welder because when I was trying to weld up the hole, or the crack, it just kept blowing holes in it, so I just welded a patch on there to stop it leaking. And the reason why this bed is so thin on this bottom pan is because the person that had it before us, at one stage, all the skids fell off, and they didn't realise, and they carried on mowing without the skids on it, which then wore the bottom pan really thin. You can see right there, look, that's starting to weep there with oil because it's so thin and it's cracked through. I'll show you the new one. You can see how much metal there is on there compared to the old one. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to take this bed apart and put a new pan on there, and I'll set up a time lapse, and we'll get a sped up video of me taking it to pieces. So I'm going to undo the bolts at either end of the bed. There's my spanner gone. And then the bed should drop right off onto the blocks. But these bolts look pretty seized up. I've got the big gun out, the 3/4, but it's only got 2 bars on the battery, so we shall see what happens. Ideally, I'd be better off putting the gun on the nut, but can't get on the inside, so we'll see what happens. Check we're on full power. No problem. I have got a 1-inch impact, but I haven't found a use for that yet because this 3/4 undoes everything that I've found. Put my glove on because it's rattling my hand on the spanner. Oh, that's hard. Just spray a bit of oil in there. See if that helps. That's 2 out of 3. I don't think there's any thread left on the end of the bolt. I think we might have to find some new nuts and bolts to go back in there. Got the bolts out on this side as well now, or undone. The drive is disconnected, so We'll lower it down a bit. My arm's not long enough, I need to be able to press the button and see it at the same time. Alright, that's that side right off. Just got to get the bolt out on this side now. It's pinched a bit. It's pretty heavy. When the JCB comes back at lunchtime, I'll get the pallet forks and pick it up. Right, so all the bolts are out, which is ready to come apart. You can really see that crack has opened up now that I've taken the bolt out. It's quite a big crack there.
Did you find that, like the Bateman green? I mean, you can see the Bateman green that you knew. There's also a new green.
You can see where it's been welded 3 different times. Once there, once there, and there. That bit's been rubbing quite badly, look. And then obviously where they welded it, it melted the seal, so they had to put some silicone sealant in there to stop it from leaking. But that's the hole that I made last year when I was trying to weld it, and then I just stuck a patch over it, and that stopped the leak. Yeah, these gears have been rubbing on that. Coon, look. It says Coon there. It's a Coon bed, painted green. It is quite cool though, isn't it, how it all works? All those gears. That's a lot of gears. A lot of money's worth of gears there, and bearings. I don't want to turn that too much because the bit of wood's going to fall out, and then I put the bit of wood in the middle just to support it and stop it bending in the middle. Right, I can chuck that bit away and start putting it back together. I'll have to clean all this up, go over it with a wire wheel or something, get it all cleaned up so it all seals up properly. I can remember being at college, and whenever somebody would call a gear a cog, old Nigel Mack would say, cogs are made of wood, gears are made of metal. Seems to be working alright. It's all spinning the right way. Right, it's all back together, and we're going to give it a try. The only thing I've got left to do is grease that shaft and check the oil levels. There's a gearbox there and there's a gearbox here, so I've got to check that. I've taken that cover off so I can check these belts and see them working. I've just put a brand new PTO shaft on it because I bent the other one, the old one. Last year when I was taking the mower off, I pressed the wrong button and the A-frame came down and bent the PTO shaft, so that was really annoying. But yeah, got a brand new one. So I did try and straighten the old one out, but it wouldn't. I couldn't get it straight. It was vibrating too much, so we had to have a new one. Right, moment of truth. I'm slightly nervous, but I've spanned it all around. I put oil in it. It should work fine. It's taken me, between yesterday and today, it's taken me about 8 hours, I think. But I probably spent about an hour of that running around looking for tools, because I've got a bad habit of putting tools down. Shut the door. I've got a bad habit of putting tools down and then forgetting where I put them and then wandering around looking for them, so, which you probably saw in the time lapse. Right, we'll lift the mower up a little bit so it's off the ground. And then we will push this button here and put the PTO into gear and hope there's no loud bangs. Oh, sounds good. We'll jump out and have a look. Enough to put the remote PTO on. There we go. I'm not overly keen on walking in front of that, to be honest. We'll walk round the back. If one of those blades isn't in properly and it flies out, it'll have me straight in the leg. It looks alright. We'll rev it up and see what happens. It's beeping at me because I was out of the seat with the PTO running. Right, we'll rev it up. Make sure it's all smooth. Pretty loud out there. She is singing. Right, it's probably going to take me another half an hour to tidy up all my tools and clean up the floor, so, but I'm pleased that's done. At least we can go mowing now. The grass is almost ready to cut. We really could have done with a load more rain on it, and it would have probably been a much better cut, but luckily we've got a whole lot of bales left over from last year because we had such a good yield last year, so that's kind of reassuring. And we will leave the mowers there, or the mower, until it's ready to go. Lift those arms up. These windows are filthy. Tractor needs a good wash.